Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I'm back. I don't know why I was looking for it is what day is it? Oh, good, it's Thursday. My days are all off because my kids have had half days this week and running around like a crazy person. Anyhow, this is Annalisa. This is my spiritual friend, and I am back to talk about all things manifesting. And today we'll talk about empowerment, alignment, and letting go. I am a spiritualist reverend. I am a certified psychic medium, seance conductor, a certified seance conductor, and a certified energy healer. I used to be a nurse. I'm a mom and a wife, and a human being who has been on her spiritual journey for a very, very, very long time, and have always been looking for my own connection to source. And I have, hi, Ankur. It's nice to see you or see you. um, I had a reading this morning with a very lovely woman, and she's not the only person who's ever asked questions sort of like this. And so I want to bring this up because this is sort of along the lines of empowerment. Let me just tell you a little bit about manifesting. I have been studying manifesting for over 20 years in different forms, whether it's the law of attraction or now I really kind of dig the law of assumption, where your beliefs, what you assume to be true, whether it's actually true or not, will show up in your life because we are the creators of our reality. We are powerful beings. We are all sparks of that are of the entire universe, right? So it's like if you take a bucket of water out of the ocean, it's still ocean water, it's just in a different container, right? So we are still part of source. We are still sparks of the divine universe. We're just in a little bit different container and a smaller, smaller volume of that. But we are powerful beings and we have access to a higher power. Good morning, Rose. It's good to see you here. Thank you for joining me. Please, I know you guys are subscribed, but like away, share me with your friends. Um, that said, I believe that we are connected into source and that um, we send out what it is that we want, and the universe goes, if you're saying like, I feel terrible about myself, I'm the worst ever. I hear that a lot. Ugh. I've said I'm the worst mom. Like we've all said we're the worst at something. And really, let's put this into perspective. What is there, 8 or 9 billion people on the planet? Are you really the worst? Give yourself a little credit. You don't get that trophy yet. Um, so I believe that we're creating those things, and it's not that a mirror is saying like, oh, these people who are difficult show up in my life, they're mirroring who I am, I must be a difficult person. It's not that. It's saying it's mirroring whether or not you feel valuable or worthy, or you respect yourself, or that you deserve kindness and all of those things. And so if you feel like you're not deserving of all the good things that there are, the universe goes, oh, let me show you. I'll bring that to you, no problem. The universe wants to bring you, God, whatever you call it, wants to bring you all of your desires, wants to fulfill all of your dreams. But if your dreams are set in a self concept that's not in alignment with your highest self knows what a wonderful being you are. Your highest self knows how magical and powerful you are. If you're not in alignment with that, then you're in the lower ego self, right? So you're going to feel not worthy, not valuable, not seen, not validated, and all of those things. And so people show up being like, "Oh yeah, you're nothing. You're not. I don't need to validate you. You're not good enough." All of that stuff. So that's where empowerment comes in. Hi, Earth Angel, welcome. That's where empowerment comes in. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the like button. Um, Empowerment comes in because you're not empowered because everybody tells you how wonderful you are all the time. You're empowered because you stand in your power and your being and your self concept of knowing you're valuable, you're worthy. Um, I'm not doing readings today. This is during the week. It's just manifesting talks and sort of sharing my own spiritual beliefs and teaching you guys how to be empowered, because I get a lot of readings like the one I got this morning, which is a lovely, lovely person, and nothing wrong with this because I get them a lot. And I've been in the same spot of feeling like, should I do this? Is this safe? Like sort of wanting, and it wasn't that she wanted me to tell her what to do, but sort of wanting me to tell her what to do in a way. And instead of deciding, when you have a self concept, that is one of confidence, one of value and worth, then you sort of shift into not going, oh, I don't really like either these people don't align with me and whatever. Or it's like, I don't know, works out, it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter. I'm good no matter what. Um, or I get a lot of people asking, and it's not just women, as men get into do this too. You know, why don't they like me? Or what do they think of me? It's that sort of, am I good enough for them? Putting somebody on a pedestal. And we don't need to be putting other people on a pedestal because truthfully, at the end of the day, and I always say this, and maybe it's a little crass, but we all have to sit down. We all have to sit down and wipe eventually, right? We're all humans. We all have human experiences, and none of us are better than the other. Um, you know, we create our realities. So, what do I mean by self concept? Self concept is what you believe about yourself to be true. And asking for signs and seeing them is sort of validation of manifesting, a discussion I had with my daughter. It is, and yeah, okay, so it is in the sense that when you ask for a sign and you get it, you're sort of manifesting that sign. I sort of ask for it instead of going, show me this if I'm on the right path. I go, just, give me some sort of validation that I've done this right or whatever. But usually I know when I'm doing it right, I've just decide I'm doing it right. I'm not worried about what's showing up in front of me. It's fine. When you're truly in alignment, you just don't you're just knowing. And I know that's really simpler, more simplified, and it's, like, frustrating when you're like, "But I'm not." But if there's a part of you that's constantly questioning, "Is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? When's it gonna be here? When's it gonna be here? When's it gonna be here?" You're, like, not in alignment and you haven't let go. I saw a comment on another person's post, and she was like, help me." And I said I would talk about it here. I don't know if she's going to show up or not. And she said, I'm having a hard time letting go. Help me let go because I'm waiting for her SP to come around. And I guess it's an ex-boyfriend. Why is that happening for her? Because she's not in alignment. If you're in alignment, you just know it's going to happen and it's fine. So I want you to think about a time. And in alignment means that you're calm. There's a calmness about it. There's a sense of calm about it. If you have any doubts, worries, fears, anxiety around it, you're not in alignment. You're not believing that you are worthy and deserving of your desire. So how do you believe that you're worthy and deserving of your desire? You say affirmations. So if you get in that moment of doubt, fear, or you feel like you're having a hard time letting go, you have to consciously persist, and you have to consciously say, okay, I'm going to just start my affirmations. And so in her case, it would be, I am value, I am worthy, I am chosen. Um, of course, he wants to be with me because we have a great chemistry, blah, 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 blah. We're just meant to be together. um, it's okay to have doubts. It's okay to worry. So this idea that, hi, web surfer guy. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. That's a great question. Um, so if if you're doing all that, like so many people worry, like, oh my God, I'm worrying. Oh my God, I'm doubting. Oh my God, it's never going to happen. Well, no, but no being starts to walk, no human being starts to walk without first starting to like do tummy time, lifting themselves up on their tummy and strengthening their tummy muscles and their lower back muscles and their neck muscles and their when you do, if you think about it, if you ever do yoga and you do a cobra pose or you do a sphinx pose, you're actually working your arm muscles too. Like that's not just just your back, just your stomach, all of that. It's not a resting pose really. You are actually engaging muscles there. So you have to engage your brain muscles and your brain and your thought muscles, and you have to decide you're going to control your own thoughts instead of being a victim to the 70,000 thoughts that happen all the time. You have to decide to renew that pathway. So when you're in that doubt, fear, I can't let go. Well, yes, you can. And so then you have to catch yourself, and instead of allowing that crazy, no, it's not a crazy train, but that like worry train to take off, you go, no, 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 this one's not, like, you got to get on this train. And this train is about, I am chosen, I am valued, I'm worthy. And you go into that and you sort of reset and calm yourself. Also, if you feel nervous, just get up and move. Go for a walk and do your, if it's like walking down the hallway at work, just like walk to the bathroom, walk and go get a drink of water, whatever. Just get up and move, walk over to a friend's desk and quickly say some affirmations and like pull yourself out of like, so you say, I'm safe, I'm secure, everything's working out for me, the universe always has my back, to reset your worry brain. So then you go into the like, it's done, it's taken care of, I'm good. And you sort of calm that anxiety. There's no like magical, like I've said it once, so like whatever, unless you have that knowing that it's done. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there are some things in life, that are just going to happen and it's fine. Like, I guess I knew that I would come to New York as a travel nurse and it was done. I wasn't worried about if the job was going to come, if something was going to open up. I was like, it's going to happen. It's done. And I literally told my bosses, I've applied for these positions. I don't know where they're going to come up, but they will. And I will do my best to give you a month notice because that's a professional courtesy. I was only able to give 2 weeks, but they were fine with that as well. It's not, you don't have to give 2 weeks, but it was a professional courtesy to try and give a month. But I was very upfront about it because I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know when it was going to happen. I didn't sit there and check my emails every day, like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? I was like, whatever, it's going to happen. It's done. So that's like one example of I know it's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. But when there's those things that like feel like they're kind of a little bit impossible, kind of a little bit out of your reach, kind of a little bit like bigger, or maybe like you say, like need versus want, and we'll go into that a little bit more, web surfer guy, but um that's where you got a bigger story around it. And so you have to do a little bit more laying down the groundwork. You have to do a little bit more like treading the path and going over it more and more and more. I use if you're new here, I use a path in the woods often because the paths when you go hiking in the woods, they're not there because somebody has laid down a whole bunch of asphalt. At least I hope not. It's because people have walked over them over and over and over and over again. If you have 70,000 thoughts and you have believed all of your life that you're not worthy, you're not valuable, everybody else gets that, but not me. Everybody else falls in love, but not me. Everybody else gets the job, but not me. You have thought that thought millions and millions and probably billions of times over all of those years. So you know what? Treading that path isn't going to feel natural when you're making a new path and you're building new thoughts. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel like I don't really believe this, or like you're going to judge that. Like, should I really say I'm beautiful? Like, that's conceited, or that's arrogant. I was always taught that you should be humble, and being humble means like you don't say those things about yourself. Whatever it is, it's not. It's okay to say you're beautiful. Why is it normal to say you're ugly or not good enough or not, oh, I just failed that test, even though you totally aced it? Why is that okay to say those things? But it's not okay to say, I'm beautiful. You're not saying nobody else is beautiful except for me. You're just saying, I'm beautiful. I'm good at this. You know what? I did a really good job on that project. And I think my boss is going to be just wowed. I'm really proud of the work I put into that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. When I do my circles and someone's like, I had one person who didn't want to own how good she felt about it. She's like, "Oh," I was like, say it, own it. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, I feel like I did a really good job. Because at the end of the day, you and you are alone are stuck with all of your thoughts. Why not make them good ones? Why not be your number one fan? Why not encourage yourself? Because you're with yourself all of the time. Be your number one fan. It's cool to be your number one fan. I think it is. I don't know. Like, why be your number one punisher? We can change that story. So when you're talking about how do you know, oh, so you're treading the path and you want to you're just going to have to keep doing it. If you've got this other one that's pretty ingrained there, it might take a little bit for that to go away. They say 21 to 30 days. And then even after the 30 days, when you've done like nighttime affirmations, continually thinking the same thought over and over and reinforcing that same thought over and over, you're still going to need to do some maintenance work on it. And that's okay. Every day I don't always say the same affirmations, but sometimes I'm feeling a little blue, a little down, a little not so great. And I go, let me just go back into that. And I go to those old affirmations to like, oh, I guess some weeds have grown and we need to pluck those. I guess some undergrowth has grown in it and that path isn't as solid. So I'm going to go back, and I don't get mad at myself, and I don't think I'm failing, and I don't think it's never going to stick. I just think This is just the way it is, and that's okay. Famous musicians who are professional musicians, they still practice every day. My mother has been playing the piano since she was 8 years old. She doesn't perform concerts, but she practices still all the time. So how do you know what you're trying to manifest is what you need versus what you want or what you need to work through in order to grow? Does it matter? You're overcomplicating it. What you need are basic human things, right? So we do need money, right? Because money is an exchange of energy, and that's how we get the things like food, shelter, electricity, water, basic human rights that we should all have, medical care, medical needs, whatever. So you need money, and there's no shame in saying like I need money. I mean, we don't live on a barter system. You can barter with some people, but the truth is we don't live on a barter system. The world we have set up is based on money and currency. And it truly is just an exchange of energy. So that's the bartering if you want to put it into that way, like I'll give you this many hours of my work and you'll give me this cash and then I can use that whatever instead of a chicken or a cow or 3 eggs, whatever. Like we've created a different barter system now than we used to have because it's more convenient. Um, you know, and it provides access to more goods and services than just like, oh, you have a cow. Like it gives you more options. So you manifest what you need, manifest what you want. How do you know if it's something you need to work through? Something you need to work through is something that gets triggered. Something you need to work through is something that, so where you feel, so if you come up against, say if you're the person that's like, "Oh, every time I go to my boss, they're always like this, and they have this response, and they always behave this way." That's probably something you need to work through. So you probably need to work on your self-concept because remember, everybody shows up in the way that you believe about yourself. So if you believe my bosses always show up and they don't my bosses never tell me what a good job I'm doing. Like they're not firing you. I used to have a very different concept because when I was a nurse, I was like, as long as I'm not getting called into the manager's office, I am doing a good job. I don't care if you pat me on the back. I am doing great. And as long as you're not calling me in that office, I know that everything is a-okay. I didn't need that reinforcement or that affirmation. In fact, I'd rather have as little context as possible. And not because I don't, but I just figure I'm here to do my job. And if you're not feeling like you need to oversee me, then you trusting me enough to do my job. I'm not getting anybody complaining about me doing my job, so we're doing great. That was sort of my mindset. But some people really like feedback from their bosses. I don't mind feedback, but I mean, some people want those accolades. They feel they need that outside validation and acceptance, whatever. I'm just using this as an example. If they're not showing up that way and you always feel like they don't think I'm the best employer or whatever, that's where you need to work on your self-concept. That's a need. I mean, you don't have to. You can keep living life that way. That's fine, but you're here asking so clearly. That's a need to me, a need to work on something. If you feel like money's not coming into you, that's a need to change your relationship with money and change your limited beliefs around money. Sometimes, we get taught money relationships in very different ways. Um, in my household, it was always sort of like, you don't talk about your salary. Like that was always like some, so I still have no idea what my father's salary was. I don't really know what my mom's was. And it was just always this hush hush around money. It was very like, shh. And there was always like this, like, I remember my father saying something when I was little. Some kid in the neighborhood was driving a nicer car than his, and he was like pissed about it. Like a little. And sorry, I'm really. I should try and clean up my language. Some people don't like that words. He was very angry about it. That's a relationship with money. Like, why do they have nicer than me? Why do they have more money than me? Why should that kid be? Well, who cares? Like, I don't know. I always sort of had this, like, some people have more and some people have less, and this is what it is. But I also developed a weird relationship with money, thinking there was a limit to money, thinking that you had to work hard for money. Um, you know, neither one of my parents loved their jobs. So it was sort of like there was not a healthy relationship with money. Not that I'm, not that whatever, but At a point when I was really little, we didn't have a lot of money. My mom didn't make a lot of money. And it was when she was going back to school trying to become a teacher, and it was hard. um, so I developed a lot of different things. So I'm working on that. But that's how it kind of comes up where it's like, oh, I can't afford that. Well, so instead of saying I can't afford that, just say I'm choosing to save now. It shifts the energy around it because remember, everything is energy. So if you are like money's the root of all evil, I hate this or whatever, you shift that. So look at your views and opinions towards things. Look at what's following I am. Look at how certain ideas, like, do you get upset when a bill comes in, or do you feel like, oh, no problem, I'll pay it, not a big deal? L- l- There was a point where I remember I would be like, okay, well, I can pay it this day. I never lived paycheck to paycheck, but I was never like rolling into dough once I was a nurse. So, and there is a lie around travel nurses making a boatload of money. Just saying. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't, depending on where they're at. So, when I would be like, "Oh, I was constantly thinking about, well, I can pay it. I'll pay this then," instead of just being like, "I'll pay it, no big deal." And when you have money and you have a good relationship with money, it's like, "I'll pay it, no big deal. Whatever money's coming in, I'm not worried about it. I'll never be broke. I've always got clients, blah, blah, blah." So that to me is a need, but it's more a need of because you're seeing where you're out of alignment. When you're out of like, I don't look at the shadow side or the stuff that I don't feel is functioning at its best as being evil or bad. I feel like, oh, that's a really good way for me to know that I have work to do, that I have beliefs that need to be reprogrammed. Is everybody following? I just want to check my phone. I think my watch is probably buzzing because my daughter's teacher is posting assignments, but I just want to make sure that it's not anybody trying to. Okay, we're good. Um, it- it's not any hold no judgment around it because we all have stuff. That's why we come to earth. And honestly, when there is discord or there is stuff that feels like it doesn't feel good, like you can have a disagreement with someone and still have a very healthy conversation around it when you're in alignment. You can feel like someone hasn't treated you well. And if you're in alignment and you're in a place of self respect and ability to regulate your emotions, and that literally is just affirmations. I easily regulate my emotions. Um, It does take practice, but that's the saying the affirmations over and over and over again. It's not an easy overnight success. I wish that rebuilding your beliefs was overnight, but it's not. And that's okay too, as long as you walk into it going, and it's not hard. It's just persistence. It's just deciding that you want this for yourself. And so you're willing to put the work in. I guess in school, I never really thought something was really hard. I just thought, oh, well, this requires a little bit more work than this. Learning um, anatomy and physiology required more work than algebra did for me, whatever. Like there was just stuff that required a little bit more work because I had to memorize stuff and I had to that. Whereas algebra, I had been working on that all through school. I mean, I didn't whatever, but I'm just saying it's like there was just stuff that was easier versus other things. And it wasn't that it was hard, it was just again, I shouldn't say easy, that was less work than other areas. So maybe changing a belief system around, and this is self-concept as your belief systems about yourself. Um, I don't know. If your entire life you've been telling yourself you're not good enough, your body's not good enough, your physical features aren't good enough, that might take a little bit longer or a little bit more persistence than like not being good enough at whatever job you've decided to do, because that's a newer thing. When you're going into I have a friend who's one of the smartest women I know and like absolutely hilarious. And she's going to be a judge. And I randomly emailed her and just said, I think you're like, whenever I see your stuff, or whenever I think of you, I just think you're one of the funniest people I've ever known. I'm so grateful we had a friendship in high school and we aren't close anymore. And whatever, I still think she's one of the funniest, smartest people I know. And I just said, so if you're ever feeling bad, just know that like you've impacted somebody's life. I do this randomly for people that I know and that like randomly come in my mind because I figure the universe is popping them in there for a reason. send them some good love, right? Because I don't know, whatever. Um, because we hear enough yucky stuff throughout our life. Why not get some good stuff? So I sent that and she said, "Oh, I don't need it right now, but I'm going to go into this spot and I might embarrass myself and I might make a fool of myself because, everybody no matter how smart you are does get to that point where you might say something that's not 100% correct and then feel embarrassment or shame around something." Um I don't know, when interpreting the Constitution, I guess that's what she's doing. And so it doesn't matter. It's like your first day is your first day wherever you're at, or your relationship. You might feel like, oh my God, I said that and that was so wrong, or I did that. I freaked out and I got insecure and or I got upset about this thing. Have some like empathy for yourself, some kindness to yourself when you do this. Letting go is just it's not about like never thinking about it ever again. It's that when it comes up and you start to feel fear or worry around this thing, like it's not coming, it's not happening. Why isn't it here yet? Just go, it's fine. You got to go back, get up and move. For some reason, there's something with your brain. Physical movement actually helps kind of reset and get you out of that flight or fight mode. And decide to persist in your thoughts of it's done. I'm good. He's coming back in my life. We're together. He loves me. Of course, he wants to be with me because blah, 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 blah. This isn't addressing to the one woman, but you can apply this in any area. Oh, like I start to worry that the thing I said at work or the thing I turned in because I haven't heard from my boss yet and it's been a while. I always decide whenever I haven't heard from someone and if I start to go, I wonder, I'm like, they're busy. They'll get to me when it's most convenient for them. I'm not worried about that. And that's my new, because I used to feel like they don't like me. I'm not, like they just don't want them. They're trying to avoid this. It's all different crazy stories. And now I just go, it's fine. They'll get back to me when they get back to me. And that sort of came about. That was an easy one to change because it came about when I became a mom of 3 kids. And I was like feeling bad that I wasn't able to respond to people as quickly as I'd like to. And I just realized, oh, maybe people are just doing other things. They're just busy and it's fine. Half the time I forget that I send people things. Hi, Gregory. Bye, Gregory. What does take the vaccinal or get fired? Hi, Rockdon. Welcome. You might be here in time. I don't know if I don't want to kick Gregory off. Just I want to see if he says anything else. I'm good. I am just talking about like the object of letting go is not really about forgetting about it. It's just that when you start to worry about, you recognize that you haven't messed anything up and that you are simply, just needing to reaffirm that new path through the woods. Okay. Bye. Gregory, I wish you all the love in the world. And if you don't like it, don't come back. That's okay. I'm still whole. I'm still complete. And there are still people that I help. Not everybody is for you. That's the thing. Here's the thing. You're going to find people that talk about this stuff that are absolutely in alignment with your beliefs. And that's great. Go to them. And if I'm not your cup of tea, great. Go find somebody that is. It's really easy to go around and find all the negative in people. You can find the good stuff too. And if you don't like it, you can just shut it down and move on. And you don't have to also, if somebody comes into your life and says things like that are, negative or kooky or weird, remember that you don't have to entertain it. You don't have to spend the rest of the day feeling bad about yourself, like, oh no, not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to be in vibrational alignment with where you're at. And that's okay. All right. So I've been chatting for a little bit. Does anybody have any other questions? Web Surfer Guy, did I answer your question thoroughly enough? If you're still here. And if not, I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day. I have things to be done. Sometimes I feel, Anna, what is it, that difference between manifestation and daydream? Not much. Truth be told, not much. Your brain cannot tell. Oh, perfect. Good. I'm glad. Web Surfer Guy. So your brain actually can't tell the difference between reality and make-believe. That's why the daydream thing can be so powerful. So if you're daydreaming that you're having an argument with somebody because because you didn't say something the right way. And so you're going to go back and you're going to re say it and you're going to tell them what you want and you daydream that, you will manifest that. If you're sitting there, that's why mental diet matters, because if you're sitting there watching movies about dysfunctional relationships, your brain will think, oh, this is the input. This is what's real. Your subconscious has zero sense of humor. So in jest, if you're saying like, oh yeah, I'm such a loser. I'm so, like what do people say? Like, oh, it's such a struggle. Like because they like the reaction that they get from people or whatever, or they like the interaction they get when people go, oh my God, girl, I know. Whatever, all the other, like when you see people say on things online. Or like, I gotta drink for these kids. Like most people, I don't think most people are just, unless you have a drinking problem, are really like, oh God, my kids are so stressful. I need to like kick one back. But they say it jokingly. You start creating belief systems around that. You start creating um, collective belief systems around things, around fear and everything else. So I tend to read the news over watching the news because I feel like, and maybe you'll notice this too, if you watch stuff, they always put the fearful things on a lot. And so then you create fear around something, and it's really easy to program in fear because fear elicits a full emotional response. Um, oh, that thought came to your brother about it. Yeah, there really isn't a difference. So daydream positively, daydream all amazing things. That's literally there's no difference. It's the same thing. Um, then there's like, there's conscious manifesting and then there's subconscious manifesting. He lives in illusion. We all kind of do. I mean, really. We all have our moments of, even so, you may feel like you're delusional when you're first changing a belief system about yourself. Like, if you want to say like how successful you are and your business is still like putting along, you may feel like, oh my God, am I being delusional? It's not here yet, but don't worry about it. So the way I was sort of shown it visually of like why there's a delay. Um, no, real things are possible and illusion is possible too. So, everybody called like Kanye has some pretty like unbalanced stuff going on. And I hate to bring it back to him, but I remember before he was like whatever, a billionaire or whatever, he would say all these things. I tend to manifest quietly, but to each their own. Someone could have called Jim Carrey having an illusion or delusional, because when he was before he was well known and very successful actor making whatever $10 million, he would drive his piece of junk car up to the Hollywood Hills, and maybe it wasn't a piece of junk, but it wasn't a fancy car. And he would drive up to the Hollywood Hills and he would imagine making a $10 million check, having the choice of all the things he wanted. Jennifer Aniston said, I saw a quick clip of her and she was on Ellen and she was telling one of the audience members, like, oh, you want that acting job? Just decide. Just say, like, I've got this, whatever. She's like, you may not have it yet, but you'll have it. So manifesting is like, look, before anything was created, it started as a thought in somebody's mind. Thomas Edison created electricity or the light bulb, I don't know, whatever. And people thought he was nuts before that. Oh yeah, right. Like we're gonna have like all have, light and not gas lamps in our house. Like people probably thought indoor plumbing was just such a out there thought process. So you don't need, that's the thing with manifesting. You don't need somebody to validate that it's possible. Just decide it's possible and you're going to do it. So basically, seeing in live, is this illusion is healthy? Correct me. Why wouldn't it be healthy? Look, why is it so bad to believe that something good is possible to happen to you? Why is that bad? Why is that wrong? Even if it never happens, why is it wrong to think this is possible for me? I think it becomes unhealthy when it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't think it's unhealthy to say positive and kind things to yourself. If it hurts, it's not alignment with your highest self. If what you're believing makes you feel terrible, sad, depressed, if it's making you cry, if it's making you feel like garbage about yourself, tell yourself, then that is not that isn't your ego talking, that's your lower self talking, that is not alignment with your spark of God, the divine universe, your highest self. There's a theory that that's actually what sinning is speaking against the I am, saying I am and anything negative following it. Okay? So that's where you're not manifesting in alignment with your highest self. You're manifesting from your lower self. I was raised to live realistically and not dream things so as not to disappoint myself, but living that way creates anxiety, fear, and I would rather be happy with possibility. Exactly. Exactly. I oftentimes didn't I always say, like, I don't really have any goals because I don't wanna be disappointed. I said that a lot. I said that when I was younger. And I think because there was a lot of hardship growing up. And then I just decided, who cares? I would rather try and find my own happiness and put one foot in front of the other, trying to succeed and failing along the way than never trying at all. The reason why I came to New York as a travel nurse, the reason was because I was single in Houston and I was working, and I'd always sort of like loved New York City through movies. And I'd always wanted to go there. There was something I really liked about being in a like the walking around the city, and in the movies you'll see like the Christmas tree little like pop-ups and the fall, and just there was something about the how magical New York seemed, and how much possibility was there. And so I finally went and visited. I had a friend that I grew up with that lived here, and I came and visited him for a weekend, and he was like he's an attorney, and so he's like, "I gotta work," and I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll find my way," and I literally just looked stuff up, wandered around the city, and he was like, "You didn't," like, I never called him, like, because I was like, "He's working, whatever," like, I just did my own thing, and as I was walking around the city, I thought, "I could live here. This is really like this feels nice. I like walking everywhere. I like the energy of it." And so when I decided to do travel nursing, I was like, "What I don't wanna ever look at my life and think woulda, coulda, shoulda." I never wanna look back and think, "I didn't even try. So what if I fail? So what if I fall flat on my face? So what if I have to pick myself up again? So what if everybody has to watch me fail?" I don't ever wanna think I didn't even try. I was talking to my cousin last night and I said, I sort of look at life this way when I'm making decisions. On my deathbed, will I care if I did this? So, do I care if my bed is made every day? Nope, I like making it, but do I care? Am I going to be crushed if I don't? Nope. Am I going to be crushed if I don't have that purse? Nope. Am I going to be crushed if I don't have that most amazing car? Nope. I'm gonna care that if I didn't try and at least follow my dreams and find my passion, and I'm gonna care if I wasn't a good mom or a loving person. I'm gonna care if I didn't tell people I love them. Those are the things that I'm gonna care about. I'm not gonna give a rat's about the stuff. And like, do I wanna be financially independent? Yeah, I wanna be able to like help other people in all kinds of ways. And you know what? Money does help people. So a lot of people get stopped from manifesting their dreams because they're afraid they're going to fail. And what I'm telling you is stop being afraid of failing. It's okay to fail because we learn through failure. We adjust, we make modifications. I yesterday I posted in the community post, and this is a really good one. I really recommend it. A link to my friend Damien being interviewed by a gentleman. And Damien, I met when I was 14 years old in high school, and he came walking down the hall with his cane, and he is a 1 in a billion survivor of osteosarcoma, and not one knee but both knees, and he isn't an amputee. He somehow has this thing, and he tells a story about how he had knee replacements, and the company was like, when he went to finally, he had like he was supposed the replacements were supposed to last like 5 or 10 years, and they were lasting him 18 months. He was wearing them out, and so the company who made it said, "We're not giving you another set. We want to take these and study them and make modifications." And then they came back to him and said, "Here's the modifications." Like, so because of this failure because he decided I'm not giving up on my dreams and my happiness and my life, and these things failed. This company made modifications, like they adjusted. They said, "Oh, this isn't working," and so that's where what comes from failure. That's what comes from being willing to try. So I'm gonna go. I adore talking about all of this stuff. I really want to empower everybody. Nobody should feel unhappy. Nobody should feel like they're just a victim of all of their experiences and they're not powerful because we are all powerful beings. And every day is a day to wake up and create the life of your dreams. So why not start today? I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for your love and support and your kindness. I hope you enjoy it. If you ever have anything you're curious about, you have questions, write them in the comments after, if you're watching this afterwards, and I will be happy to chat about them. I kind of started going through other videos and seeing what people were talking about, having questions there. I'm like, hey, I'll answer them on my channel. So have a lovely day, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.